Recently, some Southwest leaders in the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) met in Lagos and implored groups involved in agitations for self-determination to desist forthwith. Their position have, however, triggered several reactions from concerned Yoruba groups and individuals. In the second of the 9 resolutions arrived at the meeting, convener Chief Bisi Akande expressed strong opposition to separatist agitations and hate speeches. The leaders directed those including or indulging in such to desist forthwith while expressing their belief in the unity, stability and sustainability of the country. But there have been mixed feelings that the Southwest leaders failed to engage the separatist groups on how to take the country out of its present security predicament, which is believed to have been aggravated by the menace of armed Fulani herdsmen, whose activities have been perceived as threat to the existence of other ethnic groups in the country, especially the southern region. That is a good point, which I've been talking about, and that is the position of the North. Oh, forget a ban on open grazing. Just don't do that. But what is the cause of all these things? They are not talking about it. Oh, they will just come out and tell you that, oh, there are few individuals who are going about doing this, this and that, and they want to use it to dent the image of other Fulanis. But the question we'll be asking that those people, free people, why is it that they are so powerful that they cannot be arrested? Because if they have been cautioned and have been arrested, believe you me, all of these things would have died down. And that is what these people are always talking about. Now the southern governors or the leaders, the Southwest, and those people who are always coming out to tell us that Nigeria must be this, Nigeria must be that. But you are not telling us the solutions. Because we have been on this program or this journey for God knows when. And yet nothing is being done. And there is no headway. And there is no end in sight to all these problems. And you are not even suggesting or you are telling us that you are doing something. All they will have to say is that don't say this. Then people will ask her why. Don't just do this, but they will not tell you why you should not do this. Or you are doing something, they will not even ask you, oh, we know that this is the reason why you are doing this. We are going to tackle it. Believe us, if we tackle this, everything will be okay. They won't say that. You are criticizing what is wrong, but they will tell you you are the one fanning the embers of war. I have never seen that kind of a thing. You are seeing problems on ground. There are problems on ground. You are not tackling it. You just say people should keep quiet. You should not say anything about it. Where does that happen? Well, the Southwest APC leaders were vilified for not engaging the agitators to sample their opinions on how to address the inclination that Fulani ethnic group had been parading itself as being superior to other ethnic nationalities in the country. They are not even superior because they are violent in nature. That is why nobody is superior, because when you look at all the indices, that you can attribute to someone who is superior, they don't have it. The only thing you see from them is violence. Is he going to talk about education? Are you going to talk about civilization? Are you going to talk about the way one carries himself? Are you going to talk about understanding things? To be open-minded, to be vast. Are you going to talk about that? Why? No, they can't be superior. One of the bruises against the APC leaders is that those invited to the meeting in the first instance could not have represented the entire leaders in the ruling party, let alone the entire Yoruba race, and which is true. Can they even speak for APC? Because even they themselves, those group of people who came together have been sidelined. Secondly, observers also disagreed with resolution number 2 on the ground that the factors that triggered the agitations for secession across the country could not have been treated with party sentiment, as the leaders who assembled at the Lagos State House Marina are perceived to have done last Sunday. Aside from the resolution number 2, which generated criticisms, other demands by the Southwest leaders, APC leaders, seem to align with positions of the agitators, who insisted that as long as the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari remains repugnant to recommendations of the 2014 National Conference or restructuring of the present system, the option is for ethnic nationalities making up Nigeria to go their separate ways. Instead, of the current situation where the Fulani reigns over others. On another hand, there are insinuations that the meeting was deliberately conceived by Chief Akonde and the national leader of the party. Of course, we know that Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, to boost the undeclared 2023 presidential ambition of the former governor of Lagos State. It was gathered that it took those present at the meeting several hours to agree that the communique must be drafted in such a way it would not be misinterpreted as aiding the political ambition of a particular person. Like they always say, before Abraham, Jesus was. Anyhow they want to paint it, Nigerians know what they know. Yes, they know what they know. Well, the Guardian was reliably informed that there was heated arguments as to why some who also played critical roles in the mega of APC and other credible Yoruba elders and members of the party were exempted from the meeting. Why there was an attempt to cover up the fact that Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment Niyi Adebayo stood in for and delivered the apologies governors Kayode Fayemi Ekiti and Rotimi Akeredolu Ondo, who were conspicuously absent from the meeting. The disposition of Adebayo himself to the meeting raised questions. Adebayo arrived late for the meeting just as he left hours before it ended. The minister's presence was neither noticed except for those who recognized him when he came and when leaving under his nose mask. One of the attendees also said he saw the invite to the meeting on one of the social media platforms just as he refused to grant further comments on the invitation of former Chief of Army Staff General Alani Akinrinade, retired, and Chairman of the Police Service Commission Musiliu Smith, who were not known to be members of the party. The former Chief of Army Staff attended, but no explanation was communicated to the public about the absence of the former Inspector General of Police. To further justify the inquisitiveness of those who suspected underbelly motive in the meeting, especially considering the non-invitation of some key Yoruba leaders and stakeholders of the party, Fayemi and Akeredolu on the following day clearly stated through their spokespersons that they were not properly invited, but they pledged their support for the resolutions. It was gathered that the two governors who played a vital role in the 17 Northern Governors meeting distanced themselves from the meeting as some of those who were not invited and kept quiet since last Sunday. It may have had a serious backlash on the position arrived at the solution at the Southern Governors. Mixed reactions over resolution 2 despite the perceived internal misgivings within the party about the exclusive tendencies of the meeting. There are also discordant tunes over the directives of the Southwest APC leaders to the agitators to desist forthwith, urging Yoruba to disregard the directives. Yoruba Ronu Leadership Forum, a group that has redirected its adherents into the ruling party, said the position of the Southwest APC leaders was not binding on the agitators. President of Yoruba Ronu, Mr. Akin Malaulu, said decisions calming down frayed nerves will further offend the rights of some agitators to be heard. According to him, we as leaders of thought in the Southwest find the silence on the national dialogue as not only intended to erode the rights of our helpless masses to clamor for justice, equity, and fairness, but to also stop completely some agitations for a brand new constitution on how we shall live together with little or no rancor. The group accused the leaders of playing games with the call of restructuring, which the ruling party promised in its manifesto but had refused to implement. Yoruba Ronu said what should have been paramount to the leaders was to have insisted that the federal government reasons with various agitators who had been demanding restructuring and true federalism but have suddenly changed tune to secession. He faulted the leaders for not engaging the agitators before issuing vague directives, saying the tune of the directive sounded too authoritative, not even members of their party who believed in the principle of true federalism would accept such language under a democratic dispensation. The forum, however, suggested that President Buhari should give assurances on the way forward in achieving peace and to also fast-track the process of change or in the alternative suspension of the review of 1999 constitution and the setting up of a government of national unity leading to postponement of 2023 election. The forum added that any further or leaders any leaders or leaders who should not delude themselves that they call the shots. It will be a mistake on their path by putting Nigeria in harm's way. Peace must not elude us. In similar vein, the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò Ìbà Gani Adams raised the alarm that some group of politicians wanted to infiltrate Yoruba nation struggle for emancipation. The Yoruba warlords' concern came on the heels of the Southwest APC leaders' directives to the agitators. According to Adams, prominent politicians in the Southwest have now infiltrated the struggle for the actualization of Yoruba nation. The struggle for actualization of Oodua Republic is a legitimate right of all Yoruba sons and daughters, but top politicians in the Southwest had hijacked the struggle. Adams alleged betrayers while pointing accusing fingers at some prominent politicians who he described as betrayers of the Yoruba cause for true liberation. He gave insights into the purported disagreements with those agitating for the actualization of Oodua Republic, saying some of the protagonists of Oodua Republic were agents that are being paid to frustrate the liberation movements. Wow. It is unfortunate that some people are determined to weaken the spirit of the agitators. Unfolding events in the last few weeks have shown that some prominent politicians have hijacked the struggle for the actualization of Oodua Republic. It is an attempt to distract us from the true and original intention of the struggle. But I want to say it here that the struggle to seek a new nation is our legitimate right that we are determined to live and die for, and we wouldn't waver in our beliefs and determination to liberate our race. Prominent media practitioner Chief Tola Adeniyi said the meeting and its proceeds must be ignored because it did not represent the interests of all members of Yoruba in their party, not to talk of those that are not their members. He also said the Southwest APC leaders have no local standing to speak for the intelligentsia of Yoruba on issue of secession. Almost all those who gathered last week Sunday are in their 60s to 80 years, and they are part of those who benefited from the skewed nature of this nation compared to the agitators who are mostly youth struggling for their future emancipation from the current lopsided 1999 constitution. He warned that such directives may aggravate the polity and ginger the agitators more. Adeniyi therefore said it behoves the South APC leaders to engage the agitators in whatever means to discuss the way forward, but in separate conversations with the Guardian, former governor of Ogun State, Otunba Gbenga Daniel, who recently defected to APC, and a former director of APC, director of Central Bank of and member of the ruling party, Otunba Olabiyi Durojaye, appealed to the agitators to tread softly and allow reasoning to prevail over determination for violence and disintegration of Nigeria. Durojaye specifically agreed that the youth have been disappointed and that they have the right to react. However, disunity of the country will not resolve but further aggravate our situation.